Have you ever woken up certain someone was watching you, even though the room was empty? What if the weight in your bed wasn't a figment of your imagination, but something pressing down next to you? That night, as I lay there, I felt the bed shift, as if invisible hands had chosen me, careful and deliberate. Was it a dream or something darker? My breath caught, the air thickened, and a warmth spread through my spine, plunging me deeper into terror. And when a warm whisper reached my ear, I knew I wasn't alone. But the real terror wasn't just then. It was what happened next. The room was quiet, but it wasn't the peaceful quiet that brings sleep. It was the kind of silence that made my skin prickle, as though every shadow leaned closer, listening. I lay on my side, curled slightly, my body bare to the cool night air, the thin fabric of my underwear the only barrier between me and the dark. My arm rested limply against the pillow, my breathing uneven, and though I told myself I was alone, I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't. Then the first shift came. The mattress dipped with slow, deliberate weight, not the sudden jolt of tossing in your sleep, not the harmless creak of a restless spring. This was careful, intentional. My stomach clenched, my fingers twitched, and my breath hitched sharply as I realized I could feel it, the undeniable truth of someone or something settling in beside me. Could I move? Should I open my eyes? Or would even the smallest reaction confirm what was already there? A warmth followed, gliding across the curve of my hip, tracing a line that sent fire racing beneath my skin. My chest pressed tighter against the pillow as I muffled a gasp, my body betraying me with a shiver I couldn't hide. Goosebumps spread across my arms, my thighs, as though every nerve had been woken at once. The air thickened, heavy, intoxicating. My lungs pulled it in despite myself, dizzying, clouding my thoughts, until fear twisted into something I didn't dare name. My mind screamed to resist, but another part of me, the part I hated most, waited. Then came the breath, hot, close, curling against the side of my neck until my body tensed, waiting for words that never came. Instead, meaning etched itself into me with unbearable clarity. Mine. My pulse faltered, stuttering in a rhythm that made my chest ache. I whispered, "Stop," but the word broke in my throat, so quiet I couldn't be sure I'd even said it. The silence swallowed it whole. The only answer was another touch, firmer now, sliding slowly across my stomach, pausing just long enough to make my trembling worse. I pressed my face deeper into the pillow, eyes shut tight, begging myself to wake up. But what if this wasn't a dream? What if the night itself had decided to claim me? And that was when the rehook struck. The mattress dipped harder, unseen knees pressing into either side of me, pinning me in place. My arms curled tighter, my body locked, and I realized, whatever this was, it wasn't going to end quickly. This wasn't a haunting, it was a beginning. The mattress beneath me groaned louder, sinking further as the weight settled more fully across my body. My chest pressed harder into the sheets, my arm trapped beneath the pillow, while my other hand twitched helplessly against the fabric. The air clung thick around me, heavy with that intoxicating scent. Sweet, earthy, overwhelming. I tried to breathe evenly, but each inhale was ragged, fractured by the panic seizing my chest. The touch came again, this time with no hesitation. Fingers, if they were fingers, glided along the curve of my waist, sliding deliberately toward my stomach. I clenched my teeth, pressing my lips into the pillow to hold back the gasp building in my throat. Why didn't I move? Why didn't I fight? Maybe because a part of me knew I wouldn't win. My skin burned where the touch lingered, heat spreading outward until every inch of me was alive with sensation. Goosebumps raced across my arms and thighs, 1,000 sparks firing in betrayal. Shame twisted in my gut, because though terror flooded me, another ache coiled deeper, heavier. Could it sense that? Did it know how my body betrayed me? Then the breath returned, hot, slow, curling across the side of my neck, brushing my ear until I trembled violently. My heart stuttered, skipping beats, as the whisper followed. Not sound, but meaning. Mine. I froze, my eyes squeezing tighter, my hands gripping the sheets until my nails scraped the fabric. My chest heaved, my body shaking uncontrollably, yet the weight above me only pressed harder, savoring it. I whispered again, this time louder, "Please." But what was I asking for? For it to stop, or for it to continue? The rehook struck when I least expected it. The sheets tightened suddenly, tugged taut around me, as though unseen hands clutched them at either side. My arms, already pinned, felt bound. My legs shifted instinctively, but the presence pressed down until I couldn't move at all. My breath fractured into shallow gasps, panic colliding with something far more dangerous. The room itself seemed to hum, vibrating with the weight of what hovered over me. Then the lamp flickered, once, twice. A faint glow spilled across the wall, trembling shadows dancing in the corner of my vision. I forced my eyes open, desperate to see, and for the briefest instant I wished I hadn't. A shape bent low over me, not human, not shadow, but darker than the night, its outline so close it nearly brushed my skin. My lungs seized, my body stiffened, and then the light died. Darkness swallowed everything, leaving me trapped, pinned, waiting. And in that suffocating silence, I realized the worst had not yet happened. The darkness after the lamp died was suffocating, thicker than before, as if the room itself had sealed shut. My lungs clawed for air, dragging in sharp, shallow breaths that scraped against my throat. The weight above me pressed harder, flattening me into the mattress until my chest ached. My arms were stretched uselessly, palms open as though I had surrendered. Every beat of my heart thundered in my ears, frantic, uneven. The touch returned, no longer teasing. Invisible fingers slid down my spine, pausing at the small of my back, then dragging lower with unbearable slowness. My body shook violently, shame mingling with the terror that had already consumed me. I tried to twist away, but the unseen grip held firm, savoring every tremor of resistance. Another breath spilled against my ear, hotter, heavier, so close I could feel the moisture of it on my skin. My lips parted without permission, my throat releasing a soundless cry. The whisper followed, clearer than ever, cutting into me like a vow. Mine. I gasped, jerking against the sheets, my body arching in betrayal. My chest heaved, my trembling worsening, and the presence pressed lower, caging me completely. My legs shifted, weak and frantic, but the mattress groaned as unseen knees locked me in place. My thoughts blurred, panic colliding with a darker pull I could no longer deny. Could it sense that conflict? Was it feeding on it? The rehook came without warning. The sheets tightened suddenly, drawn taut around me, trapping my arms and legs. My breath fractured into shallow gasps, my chest compressing under the invisible weight. The scent grew thicker, heady, intoxicating, clouding every thought. My heart stammered, each beat harder to catch, and I braced myself for the inevitable, for the final act that would break me. And then it vanished. The warmth dissolved. The pressure lifted. The air thinned, leaving me gasping, dragging in air as though I had been underwater. My arms collapsed to my sides, my body trembling uncontrollably. For a fragile heartbeat, I believed it was over. I opened my eyes, scanning the room. The dresser, the lamp, the curtains, all still, all ordinary. But then I saw it. 2 deep indentations pressed into the mattress at my sides, perfectly aligned with where unseen knees had pinned me. My breath froze, my chest constricted, and before I could scream, the marks began to move, dragging slowly forward, inch by inch, toward my arms. I clenched my eyes shut, praying it would stop. When I opened them again, the fabric had smoothed. The silence had roared back, and the room was still once more. But I knew better. Even now, when I close my eyes, I feel it, the warmth, the whisper, the claim. Because once something chooses you like this, you never truly sleep alone again. Have you ever felt an unseen touch in the dark? Share your story in the comments. I want to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe to Paranormal Sleep for more chilling midnight encounters, because the next story might be yours.